This is where the path that he led me on, because when we were training, we always research and experience with different things we came in contact with from different types of way Western boxing trainers would teach. He researched Silat, which very few people at that time period even were into. He researched Thai boxing. He researched Savat. He researched different grappling methods, known and unknown methods. He bought every book he can find in martial art, and he put the, I wouldn't say the style, but he took the basic essence of what he called martial arts from that particular system and incorporated it into his own personal fighting system, which he called Jeet Kune Do.
Keep it up. Sensitivity. Yes. Cool. Cool.
So I'm just doing exactly what I feel that he would have wanted me to do if he was still alive. And that's a direction. And most of the people weren't into the research part. And I think I stated in my first book, he says, if you don't understand and join me in the research, you will not understand what Jeet Kune Do is all about. Jeet Kune Do is sometimes leaving the security of what you know best and learning from a person.
Yeah, Lee's going to teach me all this.
I cannot teach you. Only help you to explore yourself. Nothing more.
All right. Come on, let's explore some more of those kicks, huh?
And this is what he stressed. He says you have to understand. You have to go in the areas where you don't feel comfortable in. And that's hard. Because if you feel comfortable at the punching range and your opponent wants to play in the kicking range, it might throw you off, or vice versa. If you feel comfortable at the kicking punching and this person wants to grapple and he happens to get you on the ground, then you're playing his game. I'm trying to bring out a point here that is a different type of element. So you should be prepared to go in that. And that's what he stressed in all his philosophy. So I think, and I like to feel, and I think I know that I think I'm going in the right direction that he wanted, because I'm still holding fast to his principles and concepts.
Bruce Lee left a legacy that revolutionized the martial arts and filmmaking. His memory is still held dear by those whose lives were touched by him.
I was in a store, and I wanted to buy these weights, which is about 150 pounds, and I didn't have the money. And I looked at it, and he said, well, let's go. And he said, boy, I wish I could get this. I just mentioned it. He said, you know, I wanted to buy some weights for Brandon. And at that time, Brandon was like 5 years old, so I thought it was kind of strange that he would buy these weights. And as we walked out, and when we got to my house, he dropped me off. He says, I was just kidding. It's not really for Brandon. It's for you. And as long as you use it, I will be very, very happy. So use it. And he gave me the weight. So I was very touched by that.
There was a whole world of film that America and Europe was ignorant of, which was martial arts films. And that by styling himself in the way that he did, he became, number one, the person to introduce the world to Chinese martial arts, and really in general to martial arts.
One of the things that impressed me enormously were just simple things like sitting in a jackknife position on the floor with arms folded and feet up in the air. Anyone who tries that for longer than 10 seconds, that's a tough ask. He used to do it for anything up to half an hour or more, just watching TV.
One time, sitting in his office, he told me his dream was one day was to be a bigger movie star than Steve McQueen, who at the time was the biggest movie star in the world. It's a little ironic that 20 years later, more people probably remember Bruce Lee than remember Steve McQueen.
And it wasn't his stature. It was, I mean, he really did, and I hate to use the word, but he had a charisma. I mean, he really seemed to be a few inches off the ground. He never really quite touched the ground, you know. There was a whip-cracking vitality about the guy. And of course, you know, rather than shake your hand, you'll demonstrate his, you know, the ability to send his foot past your nose, clearing it by at least a couple of tenths of an inch at about 140 miles an hour, and by way of introduction.
Bruce was trying to show us a way in which we could make ourselves better people. The way I look at it is that, unfortunately, we have to go through the physical aspect of entering into the spiritual essence of the martial arts, and which I feel is the most important, the final plateau in one's life, and And the reason I say that is because at that point, when the door opens to get you into that spiritual plateau, that's when you finally learn who you are so that you can honestly react to anybody else without having any fear.
I know that when you speak to the younger film directors in Hong Kong today, they all grew up on the Bruce Lee films. Bruce Lee is to them still an idol. When you talk about what would you like to do, the answer is I would like to make a film that could have as great an impact on the next generation as Enter the Dragon had on my generation. And I've been told that by not one Chinese director, by at least 5 or 6. And actors, by the way. You ask Jackie Chan who the biggest star in Jackie Chan's mind is, and he will say without a doubt, Bruce Lee.
Anyway, he completed his life, I think. I don't know what more he could have done. I mean, his influence is still felt, it's still being felt. His technique is sure. It's down on film, and it's in his books. And it's in the memory of most of us. I mean, that's why we're here today, still trying to find out what it was that made him so great. It was certainly that essential self that Bruce was able to manifest. You know, he manifested. He was a true artist, a real artist.
Like everyone else, you want to learn the way to win, but never to accept the way to lose, to accept defeat, to learn to die is to be liberated from it. So when tomorrow comes, you must free your ambitious mind and learn the art of dying.